So I'm using Arteza. This is a box of 24 colors, and they're premium acrylics, so they're rich and thick and creamy. And the tubes are 0.74 ounces. And this was a set that I purchased, and Arteza has sent me some paints to try out, and I've got some larger tubes, but this was a set that I bought on Amazon. But you can find the Arteza link below my website. I love Arteza colors. They're very bold and vivid and rich and creamy, and I love the quality of them. And today I'm going to add Owatrol Easy Flow, and they now have a 2.5 liter bottle that is available. You can find it on Amazon. And so I'm using very little paint. And I'm going to do a 1-to-1 ratio. I've got a little bit more green, so I'm going to add more there. So this is the white, titanium white. That's the Mars Black. This is a combination of emerald green, phthalo green, just a touch of phthalo green, and a touch of, it's called pale green, but it's the very yellow green. I like that color. So that's what's in this cup. That's a mixture of those colors and some white. I wanted it to be light. This one is Cerulean Blue. And with Arteza, they're very thick and creamy, so you do have to add water to get to the right consistency, where it's like honey pouring off your stick. So these are going to be too creamy at first. You're going to have to add water to them. This one is Ultramarine Blue. So it's going to be the more deep, rich, just wow, in your face kind of blue. I just love this color. So this is a board that is roughly, it's about 28 inches and 6 inches deep. And it's very thin, it's like birch. And I've pre-primed it with gesso. You can't, if you pour on unprimed or unfinished wood, when you put your paint on it, it becomes almost, when it dries, almost like it has a real rough texture on it, like furry, hairy. It pulls that grain out of the wood and makes it very kind of rough. So you have to prime it with gesso or primer and then sand it so it's smooth again, because it is very, very textured. So I've got me some white here. I'm just mixing the Owatrol into that. And I'm wondering if I want to add any other blue to it, but I think this will be good. What I'm wanting to do is to do a very blue feeling, very punchy, ocean bluish feeling sign, and then I'm going to paint my name on it for a show that's happening Thursday night. And then this will hang above my booth area. And so I want it to be pretty vivid with color. That's why I chose Arteza. The more I look at this, the more I do not like it. It's becoming very gray, and I don't want to gray my colors up at all. So I'm going to put that aside. The cobalt blue, there's not going to be enough difference. When you're doing pours, like a dirty pour, you really need some contrast. That's why I have this emerald green and the white against these deeper blues. You need some contrast in order to get the cells and things to form and show up against each other. If you get colors too close in value, it's all going to look pretty much the same. So I'm wondering if maybe if I try just a little bit of the Prussian blue, or do I want phthalo blue? The Prussian blue is going to be probably a little bit more turquoise looking. I think I'm going to go with the Prussian blue and just see. So I put a little squeeze of Prussian blue, which is fairly dark. Maybe just a hint of violet in that too. I've got a little bit of violet left. So I'm going to put a little bit of violet in there and see what happens. So that's Prussian and Violet Blue. Prussian Blue and Violet. So it's kind of hard to tell what color it's going to be because it looks dark, but you can kind of see through the cup and you can tell it's a lot deeper than this, so that's a good thing. So we're going to double it up with 1-to-1 ratio. Now that I mix it though, it's pretty darn close to that one, but I don't want to add black or anything to make it lose the vibrancy. I want the blues to be really vibrant. So I'm going to leave that as is, but they're all too thick. So I've got my water in the bottle here. So we'll start down here. So I've got my colors mixed. So I've got my board. Again, it's birch. It's about, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch thick. I'm going to paint the back side black when I'm done. So I've got it propped on 2 cups. So I'm going to do I'll do 2 dirty pour cups. Usually what goes in first will come out last. So I'm going to do a little dribble of white. So what I was saying is the OGX coconut milk anti-breakage serum. People ask, what is it? It is a hair serum that has dimethicone in it. It's the second ingredient on the list. So there's different coconut milk products out there, but this is by OGX, which is on the bottom label. I have it on my Amazon link below my YouTube videos, all of them. And some people can find it at Walmart, but I've never seen it at my Walmart, but I live in a small town. You need very little of this to get nice big cells. So the key is to put very little in and to not do a bunch of stirring. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And on the colors, I'm just going to put a drop, not even a half pump, just a drop. Like where it barely comes off the pump. It takes very little, just a couple of stirs. I did not put any in the white. So I think what I'm going to do is a little bit of this darkest blue against that white. Follow it up with this Cerulean Blue. Just a drop of white. Then this green mixture of all the different colors that I mixed together. And then this vivid ultramarine blue. Then I'll go back to the Cerulean Blue. And I'll go back to the deep blue. A little bit of the white. The ultramarine. Cerulean. A little bit more emerald. I probably shouldn't put all this green. I probably should just keep to the blues because the green will probably take over, but that's okay. And just a little bit of dribble of white. Okay. Now with it being long, I have no idea how to pour this. That's the funny part. So see, with OGX coconut milk, the cells kind of like pop up automatically on their own pretty quickly. And I'm going to use the heat gun. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I think I'm going to put a little bit of the deeper blue kind of along the edges. So this I'm just kind of dribbling on to just fill in a little bit of space. It's also interesting to see sometimes too how, you know, the difference between a dirty pour and what you call almost like a puddle pour. So basically I'm just going to try to tilt slowly and keep those cells as intact as I can. The other thing I might do is just take my stick and kind of help the paint up to the edge here. See, this is when you get to see kind of a different effect, when you almost are swiping colors together. I don't do many puddle pours, but I've seen some really beautiful ones, and it makes me want to do more puddle pours. And I'm trying to get rid of that little bit of that white there. It's like all my white ended up in the middle. So basically I've just scooted the paint around until pretty much the surface is covered. And all it has to do is creep over the edges where I want it to go, and I'll be pretty good. So now I'm going to let it drift a little bit. I like this deep color. Just trying to figure out how I can incorporate a little bit more of it, even though there's not a lot of it left. I'd actually like to get some in this area somehow. See, sometimes you just have to be bold and go for it and stick something somewhere. So the green kind of did take over a little bit. And again, I'm just trying to get rid of some of that white. I'll try a little bit of the ultramarine blue in this area too. So I'm just trying to cover a little bit of that green. So now I'm trying to add a little bit of white. And I didn't mix this like super fluid, so it's kind of taking its time moving around. Got to make sure my edges are all covered. So I'm going to put a little white on the table. And just kind of intermingle it just here and there, so there's just a hint of it. So another good way is also just to put it on a skewer, because you can kind of direct the way you want your paint to come out a little bit. So I want just little bits of areas with that white, just so it's not totally absent. So if you want to soften a color, you just drag very softly, just drag your skewer, and it will move that color to give you a little bit more personality. So where it looks too busy, I just drag it and try to soften the look a little bit. Like, I love this green against this dark blue here. So there's a lot of white right there in that center area. So I'm basically just pouring a little bit of that blue and going to try to get rid of some of that white. So you can create your own pattern even. So I'm either going to come back in and paint Sandra Lett in white letters or black outlined with white or something to pop against, but I want this to be pretty evident, so I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it yet. But here is my little custom made sign for my show. I'm just going around and making sure I've got all my edges covered well. Check out this side, make sure I'm not missing anything. Try to get some of these drips so they don't dry that way. But I love these color combinations together. So there it is. I'm pretty pleased with that. I wasn't sure exactly how to pour it with it being a long board, but you just have to be able to work the paint around. Make sure you get all your areas covered. Hey there, I've got the board that I have taped off with white, blue painter's tape. Where white came from, I have no idea. And I'm going to use Payne's Gray by Creative Inspirations, which is Jerry's Artorama. So it's almost like a navy black color. And I'm going to blue painter's tape. I chalked in my letters of my name. This is going to be for my show tomorrow night. So I want the blue pour to really kind of be significant and my name just to be, you know, kind of so-so. So we're going to see how this looks. I didn't really have time to do anything like a professional sign. And I thought, what better way to advertise your painting than your own artwork, right? So it's going to be very painterly looking. But anyway, I am going to paint this. It's going to take me a while. And I will fast forward through it so you don't have to agonizingly watch every bit of it, but just to see the process. I'm going to add black to this. I want it to be very dark. Okay, so here it is. It's not perfect, but it's an example of my pour, and I think you can see the letters okay. So I'm going to let it dry good and put a nice shiny clear coat over it. Also, birch. Trying to get it where it angles. Can you see where it's warped? It's a little bit curved. So when I painted the front, it curved, and then I painted the back and it curved the other way, and then I painted the front. Well, I didn't paint the front, I repainted the back and laid it flat, and it got flat, but when I put the varnish on, it's going to curl on me again. I know it. Then I'll have to go back on the back and put some. So when you work with thin wood, it's very iffy. It has some give to it, and the only wood that I like to paint on, even the clocks that are only 10 inches round and about 1 inch thick, sometimes they warp just a little bit, but I prefer to work with MDF when it comes to wood, because unless it's really hard wood, this is birch, it does warp. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.